What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Alolan DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. On the last episode we covered a pure normal type Kamala, and I gave you a choice of two, as I described, zippy Pokemon. We had Ribombee and we had Minior to choose from, and Ribombee came out on top, so that's who we're covering today. But of course we have next episode's vote to decide on, and it's going to be a battle between two dragons. We have Turtonator and we have Drampa. So do you want to see a fire dragon or a normal dragon covered next episode? Let me know by saying you're commenting Turtonator or Drampa down below in, of course, the comment section. But for now, let's jump in and have a look at Ribombee. Ribombee is number 743 in the National Pokédex, is the Bee-Fly Pokemon and a Bug Fairy type. It's only 8 inches or 0.2 meters tall or large, so it's actually a pretty small Pokemon, and only weighs 1.1 pounds or 0.5 kilograms. It's in the Bug and Fairy egg groups, and the male-female split is a simple 50-50, so that's that. And looking at their evolution chain, we have of course Cutiefly as its pre-evolution, and that will evolve into Ribombee starting at level 25, so fairly early evolving. Then, looking at the base stats for Ribombee, you can see its highest stat here is speed at 124, moving further down its next special attack at 95, and even further special defense at 70, defense and health points at 60, and attack at 55. So apart from speed, the rest of the stats are fairly mediocre, nothing too special. Its special attack is pretty good, so of course it's going to be a fast special attacker, but apart from that, it's a very frail Pokemon in terms of defenses, and yeah, health points as well. So it's not a bulky Pokemon at all, it's a fast Pokemon, and that's sort of what we'll focus around. Ability wise, there are 3 available. The first is Honey Gather, which of course allows it to gather honey. It's useless for competitive. The second is Shield Dust, which blocks the additional effects of attacks taken, which of course is a decent ability. And then of course the hidden ability is Sweet Veil. This is okay, I suppose. It prevents the Pokemon and any ally Pokemon from falling asleep. Of course the ally bit is not really helpful in normal competitive battles, but prevents sleep basically. Whereas Shield Dust protects a lot of additional effects. So it's really sort of a mix up between those two depending what's best, but generally we go for Shield Dust. But the Bug Fairy type, how does that help out? Well, it's a decent, I suppose. It has 5 resistances in Grass, Fighting, Ground, Bug and Dark. That Fighting resistance is only a quarter damage though, so it's pretty damn good. But alternatively, to the other half of the coin, it's weak to 5 touch, which are Fire, Flying, Poison, Rock and Steel. So 5 weaknesses, 5 resistances, so it's sort of 50-50. It is of course immune to the Dragon type thanks to its part Fairy typing, and takes neutral from the other 7 types. So it's a decent typing, I'd say. It's got a few resistances, but a good few weaknesses as well. As I mentioned, it's not a bulky Pokemon at all, so the defensive typing isn't really something we need to be too worried about, since we're not looking to take many hits really. But the moves, do they help us out? Well, of course we have a first up, sort of a very particular move, a unique move to Ribombee, and that is Pollen Puff. It's a move that learns move on evolution from Cutiefly. It's 90 base damage, so same as Bug Buzz, but it has the possibility to heal your allies. So if you use it on an ally, it heals them. If you use it on an opponent, it damages them basically. Now, whether or not this is better than Bug Buzz, for example, it depends on the type of battle. Obviously, if you're in a double battle, for example, then Pollen Puff might be a good idea. Generally, you wouldn't really want to be using Ribombee as a healer, but it can be used. It has the same damage as Bug Buzz, so that's the reason why you might want to use it there. But generally in singles, it's not really that helpful at all, so I thought I'd mention it at least because the next move is Bug Buzz at level 28. Same damage as I mentioned. This does have a chance to, I think, reduce the special defense of the Pokemon, so arguably better in singles than Pollen Puff. Moving then on to some more level moves, we have Aromatherapy at level 42. Now this is, I guess, sort of decent move. It's a supporting move of course, but the benefit of it, I suppose, is the fact that Ribombee is pretty fast and zippy. It can use it before the enemy attacks, but generally it's an option to run if you want to run like a couple attacking moves and then Aromatherapy if you need it, but generally it's not the main focus of Ribombee. One final level move is Quiver Dance at level 49, and of course this move increases your special attack, your special defense and your speed by 1 stage each, so it's pretty good for Ribombee being a special attacker, being fast and also having pretty good special defense. But the fact that your physical defense is so low means you wouldn't be able to get too many of these these sort of setups off. You maybe get 1 and then you go for the attacks, so that might help out there. So it's a decent move for Ribombee, but not something like Volcarona where you might be able to get like 2 or 3 off and then start attacking. Couple of TMs, we have TM10 Hidden Power. One downside to Ribombee is a limited offensive move pool, so we have obviously a Bug Stab. Hidden Power just covers all your other sort of areas. In terms of what type you want to see, well, looking at your weaknesses, you could think about a ground type maybe for Fire, Rock and Steel, and Poison as well, so there's 4 out of 5 that will be to ground. Or you could maybe look at Rock for flying if you really wanted that. Apart from that, ground seems generally the best choice there. Then we have another TM, this is TM29 Psychic. This is a move you can get, obviously, offensive wise, so it's pretty, 90 base damage, it's Psychic type, just good coverage really. It allows you to hit some more things like Fighting, which would be resisted by a Bug Buzz, so that's pretty good there. And one final move is an Egg move, and this is Moonblast, which of course is your Fairy Stab, most powerful Fairy type move you can get access to. Definitely something you want to think about running. Of course, it covers Fighting types as well, so there's a pretty few good reasons to run that move. So the competitive sets for Ribombee, we're only going to be looking at one because, as I mentioned, it's good in terms of it's fast and it can do some decent damage, but apart from that, there's not many roles it can fit. So we're going to be looking at using sort of a Quiver Dance set, I guess. So the moveset's going to start off with Quiver Dance, of course, then we have Hidden Power or Psychic, then Psychic or Bug Buzz, and then finally Moonblast. Ability is Shield Dust, Nature is a Timid one, Held Out can be Life Orb or Focus Sash, and the EVs are looking for maximum offensive capability, so we have maximum special attack and maximum speed, and the last few in special defense to boost that a little higher. So in the moves, Quiver Dance is what you want to at least get one of these off. If you're wearing a Focus Sash, it means you get a free Quiver Dance basically, because, well, not so free, but you can get at least one off and then you can start attacking, so as long as they haven't got a priority move, you should be able to handle it there. That's the idea behind that. So you get a Quiver Dance off and it boosts your special attack and your speed, which is the main things, and you can start being faster and doing more damage, so that's the idea behind that. Hidden Power or Psychic and then Bug Buzz as well as a sort of 2 out of 3. It's up to you really here. Bug Buzz is optional, I suppose, because of the fact that Bug type isn't very strong. Moonblast is the stab that you definitely want to carry, but Bug Buzz can be shifted out for Psychic, or even Hidden Power Ground if you really want to do something like that. But Quiver Dance and free attacking moves basically. It's up to you to mess around and fit all these moves together and decide which is best for your team. We have Shield Dust as the ability rather than Sweet Veil, because generally Sleep isn't that used a tactic. Sleep Powder doesn't really hit that often. Spore, while a very good move to put people to sleep, is not hugely common, and generally you will be able to predict that. So Sweet Veil generally isn't the best ability, whereas Shield Dust blocks all added effects attacks, so Body Slam, you skip the paralysis for that. Any Embers, not that you see Embers in competitive, any Ember you can skip the burning for that, so they're pretty good benefits to this ability. The Timid Nature means that your speed is boosted most, so obviously you want the speed to be highest, because there's no point in Quiver Dancing and then your speed being just too low and then getting killed before you can even use the damage. So you want speed more than attack basically to begin with. And the choice between Life Orb or Focus Sash is up to you. Life Orb is saying, right, well, I'm going to send myself into a situation where I know I can take a Quiver Dance, or take an attack as a Quiver Dance and then start attacking myself. Whereas a Focus Sash is saying, okay, I'm not going to limit myself, I'm going to just switch him, I'm going to Quiver Dance, and then I'll start attacking. Focus Sash gives you the extra buffer basically. You get at least one turn in after you Quiver Dance, whereas Life Orb, while doing more damage of course, means that you're taking a bit more of a risk. So really it's up to you in that sense. But in terms of using the set, you go in, you Quiver Dance. If you can fit another one in, fit another one in, but generally after that you start attacking. So of course you want to find an opportunity to do so. So if they have, a Theraphorn in there, which really can't do much itself, you switch in, you Quiver Dance, you get a free Quiver Dance on the turn they switch out. Depending on whether you've taken damage yourself, what Pokemon they sent in, you could go for another Quiver Dance if you have a Focus Sash, for example, and then start going for it, or you just start going it for straight away. And there's no shame in if you Quiver Dance, they switch out into a Charizard. There is no shame in switching back out again and saying, okay, I'll leave myself for later. I'm not going to sack off a Ribombee, the first time I send out a battle. So it's a mind game basically. But that is going to be it for your Ribombee today, so don't forget to vote for next episode's Pokemon. As I mentioned, it's a Dragon type, so we have Turtonator or Drampa. Let me know which you'd like to see covered next episode by commenting either of those down below in the comment section. But for now, this is going to be it for you for today, so I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.